Hi everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience as a highly sensitive ENTP. So maybe you might not know what highly sensitive means, or you might not know what ENTP means, so I'll break it down. So ENTP is a Myers-Briggs type, and there are lots of videos online about ENTP. It means extroverted, intuiting, thinking, and perceiving. Just a way to classify people. And this, very importantly, and it's not something that people say a lot online, is that it's a cognitive type. That is, it's a type that is focused on the way that your higher functions perform, the functions in your cortex, the outside of your brain. And this is really the most advanced functions. But as a result of this focus on cognitive tasks, the MBTI does not focus on our other functions, which are more emotional or are more primary, like eating, etc. And the emotional part is very important because the brain is actually made of different structures. And I think it's called the triune brain. So we have a level that is more primary, a bit more like a reptile, and then we have the level of the emotions, more like a mammal, and then we have the cortical level, which is the human level. And the MBTI really focuses on our very human function, which is just the cortical level. But there's a lot more complexity to what it means to be a human than just the MBTI. Highly sensitive is something that touches on this complexity. And so it's not captured by MBTI. If you look at different statistics, you will see that certain types are more likely to be highly sensitive, but it doesn't mean that if you're a certain type, you must be highly sensitive, or if you're a certain type, you're not highly sensitive. It's a different concept. So what does highly sensitive mean? Highly sensitive means depth of processing, which means that you tend to think about things for a long time and you can easily be overwhelmed if you have too many things because you're really focusing on extracting everything you can from a little bit of information. And empathy, so you tend to connect with people and understand how they feel more easily. You have sensory sensitivity as well. So sensory sensitivity is to do with seeing a lot of the details and a lot of information in the environment. And that contributes to the overwhelm that you can feel as a highly sensitive person. Because you see so many things and you process a lot, and including you see a lot of emotions that people show, and you process that a lot, and so it's really a lot. And I think that's what highly sensitive means. There was a research article recently that said that being highly sensitive is like living in HD. Well, that's true, but I know the counterpart of living in HD is that you can feel and you can experience a lot and you're easily drained. Another way of thinking about highly sensitive people is that they're a bit more like orchids. So an orchid is a flower that is very sensitive to the external environment. And as a highly sensitive person, because you take in so much from the outside, you will be very sensitive. So if you were born in a bad environment, then you will suffer from a lot of trauma. But equally, if you were born in a great environment, or if you are now in a good environment, or if you are given the seeds to try to help you, like seeing a psychologist or something like that, then you will grow very quickly as well. So that's what highly sensitive means. And this contrasts with other flowers that are the nicknames of people who are less sensitive. So they've put the dandelion as the least sensitive, and the tulip as a sort of average sensitivity flower. And essentially, if you have less sensitivity, you're a bit more like a tulip, or like to the extreme a dandelion. So if you're a tulip or to the extreme a dandelion, but actually a dandelion is still 20% of the population, you're a lot less sensitive to the external environment. So you're a bit more of a tank in some sense. These are the people who have a thick skin, the dandelions especially. So no matter what the environment, they will be able to plow through and to be very strong. And of course, we need all types of people, and this is not a ranking, of course, this is just a sensitivity ranking. About the concept of sensitivity as well, if you think about it mathematically, Something that is sensitive is something that reacts quickly. So if there's a change, then you will have a big spike. That's a more like a function that is sensitive with respect to one parameter. I'm an orchid. I'm very sensitive to the external environment. I'm highly sensitive, and I'm also ENTP. And this is quite a strange combination because if you look online at polls, actually you will see that the most highly sensitive types tend to be INFP and INFJ, which is why documentaries about highly sensitive people tend to focus on more introverted kind of people. And you see all this like soft music and this kind of and the flowers and all of the language tends to be focused on people who are very demure, very quiet, but actually they are extroverts who are highly sensitive people, and that's like me. So Elaine Aron, who discovered the concept of highly sensitive people, talks about sensation-seeking extroverts. I'm not a particularly sensation-seeking extrovert because sensation thinking makes you think of someone who likes to go outdoors, etc. I'm not that type. If you think about ENTP, the dominant cognitive function of ENTP is extroverted intuition. So if you want, I'm like an intuition-seeking or perhaps insight-seeking highly sensitive person. And that's a type that hasn't really been studied by Elaine Aron. So actually, if you look at the poll of what is the percentage of each MBTI type that are highly sensitive, you will see that about 29% of ENTPs are highly sensitive. So my experience has been actually very different from the kind of experience that you would expect for a highly sensitive person. I'm not demure, I'm not quiet, and I'm not sensation seeking either. So I'm really insight seeking or like intuition seeking. So for me, I really like to, watch lots of YouTube videos and really like gather all the insights from things. But I don't, I tend to view a lot of the details and I can be very easily overwhelmed. So for example, if I go to a show or a concert with lots of strobes, for me, it's like it's over very quickly and I need to wear special earbuds to reduce the sound because I can't take that level of sound. Also, when someone with me is experiencing an emotion, I will feel it quite easily. And the depth of processing, I will need a lot of time to recharge after a day of work, for example. And really, this does not seem to fit with either the highly sensitive stereotype of someone who is introverted, because I like to look at so many things. And it doesn't fit with the extroverted stereotype who seems to always have a lot of energy and wanting to be social all the time. And I have cognitive extroversion. I don't have social extroversion. And this is probably why people think that a highly sensitive person cannot be an extrovert, because they think social extrovert, lots of energy all the time. How can this go along with like taking in so much information from the environment? You will be exhausted very quickly. And so if you think about cognitive extroversion properly, just like liking the outside world and for me, intuitions that come from the outside world, I think this is compatible, and certainly I'm the living proof of it with high sensitivity. Now, in terms of the challenges I've experienced in my life, I've experienced a lot of challenges because as an ENTP, you don't really focus inwards on what your emotions are like. So you can take in all the emotions from other people, but actually you don't know how you're feeling, you don't know how these other people have impacted you. So that's one way, and that's related to the extroverted feeling function that as an ENTP I have. But also, uh, I'm more of a thinking type. So I like models. And for example, MBTI is a great model. I really like playing with it. But these models have helped me understand myself quite a lot. And this is not really a way that you think of the highly sensitive person. You think more like instant burning and then yoga, etc. And although meditation has been helpful for me, I'm not that kind of person. I'm more of a serious, in some sense, or analytical person. I like my models and all this. And this is really not the stereotype of the highly sensitive person. But I have benefited from learning about my sensitivity and doing some meditation and being able to, and doing mindfulness and being able to feel really how I feel and try to identify my emotions and identify my needs. So I've been on a journey, and it's been probably very difficult for me because I've been experiencing all these emotions, but actually I didn't know how to label them. I had what is called alexithymia. So I did not know how to talk about my emotions. So if you are not an INFP or INFJ, you can still be a highly sensitive person. And it might be quite difficult for you to deal with and identify all your emotions, but you are still a highly sensitive person. And I would be very interested to know if you're a highly sensitive person and what has your experience been in relation to your MBTI type. I will link below the link to the questionnaire for highly sensitive people, and I will also link below to a questionnaire for the MBTI. And hopefully you can discover about these two concepts. And I would be very happy to read about your experience as a highly sensitive person and to know what your MBTI type is. So if you've liked this video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. And if you want me to talk about a certain part of my experience as a highly sensitive ENTP, please ask me about it and tell me which part of my experience you would like to hear more about. So see you in the next video. Bye-bye.